Are you struggling with your blood sugar? If so, I have some easy tips for you in this video. Hi, I'm Fenella Scutt, graduate from a Masters of Science at Stanford University, where I was recruited to play on the varsity field hockey team. I'm originally from England, so grew up playing on the national team back home too. So as an athlete, maintaining stable blood sugar levels throughout the day was essential for me to make sure I had sustained energy to perform at my best, especially during days with multiple training sessions. So like I said, I have some tips to share with you, but first I'm going to explain why light in general is so powerful for our health. LUMEBOX is the leading portable red light therapy device because it's more powerful than most portable devices. Third-party tested for irradiance, EMF, and it's bigger with a longer battery life too. Check out our caption for more information. There was a study that talked extensively about the impact of light on our metabolic health. It's called Associations of Outdoor Temperature, Bright Sunlight, and Cardiometabolic Traits in 2 European population-based cohorts. And they had a huge amount of people sign up to participate. 1,300 people total. They discovered that for the people who spent more time in bright light during the week before their blood test, their blood showed increased insulin sensitivity. This means the sunlight might have helped their bodies use sugar better. If you don't know what insulin is, it's the hormone that regulates our blood sugar. When we eat a meal, our blood sugar goes up. Insulin is the key that opens the door to allow sugar in our blood to get inside the cells. So when insulin doesn't work to open that door, our blood sugar remains high, and this is what can lead to type 2 diabetes. The more sensitive our tissue is to insulin, the better our blood sugar control. The better our blood sugar control, the lower our fasting insulin. And fasting insulin is often used as a marker for how well our tissue responds to insulin, otherwise known as insulin sensitivity. In this study, they showed that for each hour of bright sunlight exposure, fasting insulin decreased by 1.27%. So getting some healthy exposure of sunlight without getting burnt is good not only for our vitamin D levels, but could potentially help our blood sugar regulation too. But more research is needed on this to draw a definitive conclusion. So that's sunlight, but can red light help with blood sugar too? Well, Dr. Glenn Jeffrey, who is very highly regarded in the world of red light therapy, conducted a randomized control study on red light therapy and blood glucose that had some crazy results. The study used an LED red light device at a wavelength of 670 nanometers. That's visible red light, by the way, delivering a single 15-minute exposure at 40 megawatts per centimeter squared, applied to the upper back with the light positioned 40 centimeters from the body. They noted that this light was able to reach around 2 millimeters into the skin, so that's pretty good compared to some of the other light wavelengths like green or blue, for example. There was a group receiving 670 nanometer light and another that received a placebo light, where they just didn't turn the light on at all. And both groups were tested for glucose tolerance using a fasting oral glucose tolerance test. They do this by consuming 75 grams of glucose in 150 milliliters of water. So that's almost 19 spoonfuls of sugar in less than a cup of water, by the way. So quite a lot of sugar. Then they did finger prick tests to take a blood sample every 15 minutes for 2 hours. This measurement was taken at baseline as well as during a control experiment without light. And then they did the same thing but started shining red light on the back 45 minutes after consuming the glucose solution. Here's a direct quote from the paper about what they found. When comparing 670 nanometer light against placebo interventions, the light reduced the elevation in blood glucose by 27.7% over the 2 hours of fasting oral glucose tolerance tests. So the people receiving the red light therapy treatment experienced almost a 30% decrease in blood glucose, which was a significantly greater reduction in blood glucose than the placebo group who didn't receive any red light therapy. You can see it in the graphs too. The red lines are the red light group, and look how the line starts to decrease, especially once you hit 45 minutes. The maximum glucose level reached was also significantly lower for the red light therapy group than the placebo group. Now, this study was only published recently and has not been extensively peer-reviewed yet, and they did only use 30 subjects, which is not a huge number, but they were still able to show statistical significance, which is impressive. And as a randomized control study, this is a high level of evidence, so I'm excited to see where these results lead. Before I share more exciting findings, if you're enjoying this video, here's a reminder to like and subscribe to our channel for more science-backed, evidence-based news you can use about red light therapy. The study I just shared with you is groundbreaking because it was done on humans using LED red light therapy, similar to LUMEBOX. So far, a lot of other red light research on blood glucose has been done using laser devices. However, I do have some more studies which are interesting, so stick with me for one more example. This one I found while researching how we can integrate red light therapy into our exercise routines to help with losing body fat. In 64 obese women undergoing weight loss treatment, they used 808 nanometer laser light so near infrared light, at a super high irradiance of 6 watts per centimeter squared, applied to the abs and quads for 8 minutes, then the glutes and the back of the thigh for 8 minutes, 3 times per week for 16 weeks, each time after exercise. The primary outcome of this study was fat loss, but they found that physical training plus phototherapy was more effective than physical training alone in reducing the HOMA-IR index. The HOMA-IR index is a test to quantify insulin resistance. In other words, how sensitive our body is to blood sugar variation. And in this study, they took blood samples and found that insulin resistance improved in the exercise plus red light group by significantly decreasing blood insulin concentrations and the HOMA-IR index. They recorded decreases in body fat mass too. Managing insulin and blood sugar is important when it comes to fat loss, since insulin spikes encourage our body to store more fat. So reducing your blood sugar might not just have to do with what you're eating or how you're exercising, but the effects of light, specifically red here, add another level. So that's the science, but what does this mean for us? We know red light therapy is becoming a more popular tool for skin health, muscles and joint soreness, inflammation, relaxation, and so much more. And because of how red light therapy works to target the mitochondria, it makes sense that it could potentially help with blood sugar regulation, since the conversion of glucose from the food we eat to energy takes place in our mitochondria. So here are my 3 tips to help you balance your blood sugar. Number 1, maintain a balanced diet rich in fiber and low in refined sugars. This is crucial. I like to add certain spices like half a teaspoon of turmeric or cinnamon to my meals for their anti-inflammatory properties, and also to help with the uptake of glucose into my cells. Second, I'd say incorporating regular physical activity into your week goes a long way. And this isn't just my perspective as an athlete, because for controlling blood sugar, it doesn't have to be a lot of exercise either. Try and just get a bit of movement in after your meals especially. A 5-minute walk is all it takes to avoid the steep blood sugar increase and the crash you'd otherwise experience later on in the day. Number 3, of course, is red light therapy. I use LUMEBOX all over my body to help with skin, muscle, joint health, and really just to keep my cells feeling young and energized. So those are my top 3 tips, but there's actually a lot more hacks out there when it comes to blood sugar control. So be sure to follow our Instagram at LUMEBOXPro, where we regularly share easy lifestyle hacks like this. And if you're concerned about blood glucose, please speak with your doctor and make sure to check with them before starting any treatments like red light therapy. Plus, if you're after a high quality MD designed red light therapy device that ticks all the boxes, we have a special discount on LUMEBOX in the caption below, or you can download our free red light therapy guide to learn more about it before you purchase. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video if you're a subscriber.